Hello. I'd like to talk to you about the time I met the Queen.
I thought I'd talk a little bit about meeting some of the royal family, and in particular the Queen. And I thought I'd talk a little bit about it, and then we'd watch the bits that I'm talking about. So the first time I met a member of the royal family was Prince Charles, and that was in 1997 on a show called A Royal Gala, which was for the Prince's Trust. That was Prince Charles's charity. He's now obviously King Charles III, but then he was Prince Charles, and it's a variety show and lots of big names were on the show. And that year there was also the Spice Girls on the show, and Phil Collins, Michael Barrymore. I mean, it was a big variety show. And I shared a dressing room with Julian Clary, Stephen Fry, Tony Hawks, Bradley Walsh and Frank Bruno. That was my first Royal Command show. And then at the end you have a lineup and you meet the member of the royal family, which was Prince Charles. I did a joke about Prince Charles. He was up in the box and Sam did a little gag. So I think we should have a little look at that bit, and I'll tell you what I was thinking.
LR, what is it?
Loose rivet.
Loose rivet, where?
Just up there, underneath that box. That's woken him up.
Oi. Sam, you can't say that. That's the Prince.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was only kidding. I've got all your records.
Yeah, it was quite cheeky, not too rude, not too naughty, just silly, really. The next time I met a member of the royal family was the Queen, and that was in 1999. I was booked to appear on the Royal Variety Performance, which that year came from the Hippodrome Theatre in Birmingham, and all sorts of people on that, lots of great comedians, a real mixture of pop stars, all sorts, and Barry Manilow was on that show. And I did my baby for the first time on the show, on the Royal Variety Show on ITV, and afterwards I remember lining up, waiting to meet Her Majesty the Queen and Prince Philip, and you're presented to them as they walk along the line of all the acts that have appeared on the show, and I remember her saying, "What do you do?"
And what do you do?
And I remember thinking, I obviously made a lasting impression. Prince Philip said, "Where's the little guy?" That was my impression of Prince Philip, by the way. And we kind of laughed. Whether you're a fan of the royal family or not, to be booked on that show, it's quite a high profile show. And there's the most amazing acts on the show. So it was a very exciting time. The next time I met Prince Charles was on another Royal Variety show, which was 2002, and that was at the Hammersmith Apollo, and I got to meet one of my comedy heroes, Bob Monkhouse. Kylie was on the show. It was a big show, and I was on there with the comedy bunch that were on. It was me, Jimmy Carr, Lee Mack, Omid Jalili. That was a great show to be part of, and that was in front of Prince Charles. I did a little gag about Prince Charles with Sam.
Politically correct, I know what I'm doing. Right, okay, there are these two Irishmen.
No.
Excuse me?
No, you can't say that.
Why not?
Racist.
Racist, all right. My mother-in-law, now there's a...
No.
What?
Sexist.
Sexist, all right, this big fat bloke.
Sizist.
My grandmother...
Ageist.
Paul Daniels walks into it.
Illusionist.
Salvador Dali.
Surrealist.
Prince Charles.
Royalist.
I was quite pleased with that. Got a laugh, got a good reaction. My very bleached blonde hair looked ridiculous. I cringe when I see that. But at the time, I thought it was a good idea. My next royal show was in 2009, and that was the Royal Variety performance, and that was at the Opera House in Blackpool. And I was on that show with various people, including Jason Manford, Hal Cruttenden, Bette Midler, Whoopi Goldberg, Michael Bublé, Lady Gaga. It was quite a show to be on. So I was very lucky to be on that show, and I did my human dummy routine. Did a bit with Sam, then I did my human dummy routine with a guy from the audience who I just picked out on the night, who was fantastic. Forget his name. He was Richard somebody, but he was brilliant. And then I did a bit where I leave Sam on his own, and he wanted to finish the show on his own. So I storm off and leave him on his own, and he comes alive. And this bit got a great reaction, but there was a lot of backwards and forwards with the producers about the script and what the dialogue was actually going to be. And me and my comedy writing friends decided that it would be funny if Sam spoke to the Queen. So he spoke to the Queen on his own without me, and this is kind of how it went.
Sam, I'm in a hurry. I'm finishing this book.
I want to come back out, Zerdin.
Sam,
I don't need you.
listen, if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't talk.
Yeah, if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't eat.
Oh, really? Is that so? Okay, all right. Yeah, I'd like to see you without me then. Okay, fine. It's the way you want to play it. Okay, fine. Okay. Here's your mic. There's your audience. Go for it.
Is it safe? Look at this, I'm hands-free. Now, Your Majesty, I just like to say, the thing that makes Christmas so special is not the presents, or the big turkey dinner, or the smell of old relatives, but the wonderful message you deliver to the nation on Christmas Day on the telly. And I just wondered if it would be at all possible, Mum, if it's not too much trouble, what would really make my Christmas, when you do your speech, can you get on with it?
Ladies and gentlemen, please do not get caught up in the world of make-believe. He is, after all, only a puppet. Thanks very much. Good night.
So that got a massive laugh, and I was very pleased and relieved. So when I came back on stage, you could see a look of relief in my face, because I knew it had gone well. And apparently the Queen, in the interval, I was just before the interval, she was overheard saying by my agent that was her favourite part of the show up to that point, and she loved it when the puppet came alive. And then when I was in the lineup at the end, meeting them, she said to me, she said, I love that moment where your puppet became real. And so I kind of got the seal of approval. Royal approval. The royal seal of approval. Royal seal of approval. It's quite difficult to say. Anyway, that was a fun night to be on. And quite nerve-wracking as well, just because of your royalty out there, and then also you've got the most amazing performers. And I remember standing next to Mika and Michael Bublé and Lady Gaga, and in this lineup, and I looked over at my friend Hal Cruttenden, and we just caught each other's eyes and just laughed, just because of what a kind of crazy night it was. But that helped my career enormously here in the UK, and I'm very grateful to those appearances on various royal shows over the years. it's funny to watch it all these years later. I haven't seen some of those clips for a long time, and I think they still stand up all right. You know, I'm quite proud of them, and you know, there were some big shows to be part of, so I was very fortunate. Don't forget to subscribe. More content added every week.